mentioned some of the seedling disease problems that we had with the wet spring. And that wet spring did just give us some of the seedling disease problems. It also set us up for what you're probably seeing if you're driving around Indiana right now in soybean fields. So who's out there seeing some patches of orange and yellow and some dieback and defoliation? I should see every hand go up because it's in almost every field. So if you get out there, if you're actually, if you're doing more than the windshield scouting, if you're getting out of the truck and you're getting into the fields, you're probably likely seeing something that looks like this, right? This kind of yellowing and browning between the veins, lots of defoliation. As these symptoms progress, you'll start to see the plant lose the upper leaves, so the upper trifoliates and the petioles will kind of be hanging out there, sticking up. Who knows what disease this is? Sudden death syndrome, right? Or SDS. We are seeing a lot of this disease, and it all goes back to spring. Just because we're seeing the symptoms now, what we're seeing is the symptoms of something that occurred very early in the growing season. SDS is caused by a soil-borne fungus that infects those roots in the early vegetative stages. So when we're planting into cool, wet soils, those wet conditions, those are great conditions for this fungus to kind of take hold and infect soybeans. And so what you're seeing now is just the result of what happened back then. Nothing we can do about it now, but you do want to make sure you know what disease you have, because there are other diseases that are going to cause this type of symptom if you're just windshield scouting. And this is a hard point in the season to know because soybeans are starting to naturally senesce anyway. You're going to get those pockets of yellow. You're going to see some top dieback. So what you want to do is go out to those patches, and if you're seeing this type of symptom, go down and split that lower stem open. And you're looking down in that lower stem, if you're seeing kind of that grayish, brownish discoloration in the lower stem right there, but the pith remains white or clear, that's going to be an indication that you have SDS. So this is what you kind of want to look for. You want to look for that grayish discoloration down there in that lower part of the stem. And the pith or the center part right here remains nice and white or clear. So we're looking for that grayish discoloration. That's going to be your indicator that you have SDS. Now there are, like I said, there's other diseases. There's brown stem rot. Brown stem rot will have kind of that brownish in the pith. And it's important to remember that we distinguish these because really at this point in time, the best way to manage this disease is by planting a variety that has more resistance the next time soybean goes into that field. And you got to know what you have first before you can actually select that variety. So know what fields have the disease, sit down with your seed dealer, select a variety that has greater resistance the next time it goes into soybeans. Now there is something on the horizon. If we talked about the seed treatments. Right now, none of the seed treatments that you can put on soybeans have efficacy at controlling the fungus that causes SDS. But there are things in the pipeline. There are some companies working on these products, and hopefully there'll be one available for 2016 that is going to have 2016 that is going to have some efficacy against SDS. And so we're hopeful that could be something that's an option in fields that have a very severe history of the disease, that have compacted soils, that maybe have high soybean cyst nematode, which are all contributing factors to sometimes how we see the severity express in certain varieties.